Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Skylar Dream and I am a self-taught digital artist, crocheter, and small business owner. On the screen for you is Kagayuki because this is a faceless vlog. They're primarily here just to give you guys a visual interest so you're not staring at my torso the entire time. Occasionally I will throw in a mask, but today is not one of those days. It is Tuesday. I didn't film yesterday because I just simply didn't feel like it, and I think I'm finally beginning to crash from just being on crunch mode with the stickers this entire time. So I'm beginning to kind of just slow down, allow myself, like, just go with this wave and be kind to myself, because the past couple of weeks I have gotten a lot of work done, and yeah, I deserve a bit of a break, so I have been slowing down a little bit. I did stream this evening and I turned my computer off already, so I forgot to show you guys today's whip. But essentially, we are taking a break from doing sticker designs, even though I do have a couple of sticker designs in mind already for the next batch. But I do want to back away from that for a little bit and just, again, give my brain a break from doing that. And today we kind of did take a little bit of a veer off from sticker designs into something. I guess the best way to put it is I'm actually started another full rendered piece, so I'm not sure how far I can get away with YouTube with streaming progress on the pole dancing AU, so I decided to start a new whip today and pretty much dug up an idea that I've had for the longest time. I just never really had the opening to work on it, and I'm bringing back the Dead by Daylight Haikyuu AU. So it's pretty much the Haikyuu boys in a DBD setting as different killers. The first one has actually been the Trickster Atsumu, and I low-key kind of want to do a redraw of him. We'll see in the future. I decided to go with the Stage 04 as the Legion, so we got started on that today, figuring out composition and how to place all the boys. In terms of sticker designs, I did get one response from one of the manufacturers, so the sticker roll is on the way. I haven't heard back from Vograce yet, so I'm probably going to go ahead and log in at some point and check what the status is on that, because I did submit a total of 14 designs, so I don't know if that's going to come with proofs or not, or if they're just going to just jump straight into the manufacturing process with the stickers. So I do need to check in on that. I was going to set Kagayuki down, and as I was setting him down, I noticed that, oh, that oddly feels like stuffing. Does Kagayuki have a hole? And took a closer look, and yeah, they got a pretty big hole back here. So I'm going to have to sew that shut at some point. But I've also been saying the exact same thing for the past 10 years about this one oversized Care Bear knockoff plush toy I have that just has one giant hole in the back of its neck. And now Kagayuki has a hole in the back of its neck. So I'm gonna have to sew that closed at one point in time. So Kagayuki has a hole. It took all my diamonds, but he came home. He came home. Literally, all the diamonds I had left over from Caleb's Netherlord, they all just went into Silas, and thank God he came home. I genuinely thought I would not have enough diamonds to pull for him, but I had just enough to do all 69 pulls. He made it! He came home! I didn't lose a 50-50! I will say the one good thing for my wallet is that I'm more of a collector than I pull for stats. So, my Silas collection, there's only one R3 5-star card, and that's because I accidentally R3'd him because I was trying to pull for Zane. I've mentioned this in stream before, but when the Catch 32 banner came out, I tried pulling for all 5 of them, but Silas kept blocking Zane from coming home, so now Zane blocks Silas from coming home whenever I really want to pull for him. So thankfully, this time did not get cock blocked by Zane, and yeah, these are all the Silas cards I have right now. I love my baby crow. I love him so much. Oh, I love him. I think I'm gonna try to make like a little lunchbox cake over the weekend, just for Silas's birthday. I should get that together. Make a small little. I'll make a small little lunchbox cake for Silas's birthday. I love this man so much. I love him so much. He came home. I know I said I was going to take a break from the stickers, but I also have been doodling a couple of things for sticker designs here and there. And so far we got, I don't know if I've actually showed this one yet, but some butcher and blackbird ideas. So blackbird with an eye in its beak and little hatchet cleaver. And what I'm thinking to do is like this little splatter right here, kind of make it look like a blood splatter, but put it in the shape of a spider web. So kind of just like a nod to Orb Weaver. And then cookies and cream ice cream. If you know, you know. And then I messaged my friend last night, and I was telling her, it's like, I have an idea. Emotional support femboy sticker. And she approved. So now I'm thinking of a sticker for emotional support femboy, emotional support twink, and then emotional support catboy. So these were some different poses that I was playing around with. I'm thinking of this one for the femboy, this one for the catboy, and then this one for the twink. And then the funny thing about the twink, because of their position, it kind of obscures his crotch area. So I was thinking of like another little cheeky sticker would be like, I'm wearing shorts, you perv. So yeah, that's where my late night thoughts went yesterday. So this is very likely going to become a thing because now I need it. And then finally, I started doodling, and I've been wanting to make Malachi stickers for the longest time. So yeah, Malachi Vise Apologist. Actually, not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, because I've heard the audiobook say Vise. In my head, I say Vise. The other thing that I want to add to eventually, like, I'm thinking of adding in the gas mask and then moving the spider into the other corner. Because I also do still want to make a sticker with just the gas mask, the spider crawling on it, and the screwdriver. But I want to also add the gas mask to this one. So I'm thinking of 2 different Malachi stickers. So yes, I love Malachi. And we have another jackalope completed. So this is going to be one of the brown ones. I'm going to make 1 more brown and then 2 whites, and I'll be done with the jackalopes for this event. I have a strong urge to make more Chubzillas, so to be honest, I thought I was done with the Chubzillas. Apparently not. For me, that pattern is just very addictive. But yeah, we're going to be making 3 more jackalopes. We're going to be making a couple of more Chubzillas apparently. And I do need to hop on to making the tricolor dongo at some point, so that is probably going to be one of the next ones on queue after the jackalopes, because I do want to prioritize another design over more Chubzillas as much as I want to just crochet more Chubzillas. But 3 more jackalopes to go, and then we'll start working on a pattern for the tricolor dongo. I'm still debating whether or not the dongos are going to get faces or not, but we'll see. We'll definitely see, because I do want to get a couple of tricolor dongo to go alongside the rice balls. And I'll need to go look through my list again of amigurumi my friend and I thought would be good ideas. So I'm also debating on making 1 more large piece, but with Nessie being the size that she is and the space I have on my table, I'm not sure if it'd be a good idea to have another large piece. Not to mention, I don't know if I'll have enough time to get another large piece done before the market, given that I do need to make some smaller ones first. And I do still need to make the pink narwhals. But, anywho, we got 1 more jackalope. Next pattern we'll be working on is creating the pattern for a tricolor dongo, and maybe more Chubzillas. And I'm thinking maybe if I have time, either this weekend or next weekend, I could do a how many can I crochet in a day challenge. Obviously, it'll be anything that I already have patterns for, so... Because I've also been thinking of wrapping up the lads boys that I have in my whip bin as well. Okay, I'm giving myself a to-do list again. But priorities, 3 more jackalopes, going over to the dongos, and if I have time, I'll make more Chubzillas. And we also need to make the narwhal. So that is the update for this evening. I had a doctor's appointment today. Pretty much went to the doctor's, had breakfast at like 10 a.m. And one of the things that I realized is that As much as I enjoy country fried steak, the issue I have with it is that when they prepare that plate specifically, is that they put a bunch of like other bland, relatively bland or like similar note food items with it that the closer, like the more I keep eating, eventually I'll reach a point where I'm full and I'll want to like gag. So I think safe to say country fried steak at restaurants is not for me anymore. Because this isn't the first time it's happened. This is actually the second time, and it's a completely different restaurant. So I think because there's like too many similar notes on the plate, like not enough flavor variety, that like at some point I just get bored of it to the point that I do want to gag at some point. So fun fact about me. Anyway, doctor, had breakfast at 10, and then went to the bookstore, went to Target, didn't really find anything, so I just grabbed a Celsius to survive the drive back home. Pretty much as soon as I got home, I just knocked out for a bit. And while I was knocked out, my order from Sticker App came in, and did we not have a bigger box? Like, genuinely. I know that the roll of stickers is in here, so I'm not particularly too worried by shaking this box around, because if it does get damaged, it's on me at this point. And we couldn't have gone bigger. Anyway, so the Sticker App order is in. I did check in on the Vogue Race order. That one is still going through the proof process, so they haven't finished making the proofs yet, and there's a part of me that is low-key concerned if it's gonna get to me on time now. So Vogue Race was a gamble, and that gamble is causing some minor anxiety, because those are 14 sticker designs that are supposed to come with me to the market to add on to the 4 that I have. So hoping it gets here before the 8th, and we still have like a good 3 weeks before then, so hoping they'll get here in time. But for now, I do have the sticker rolls, or the label roll for the business cards, so that's a good thing. I can begin covering those up over the next couple of days. So at least one sticker order came in an oversized box. So I'm going to go ahead and open it, and we'll take a look at the sticker roll. So, close up on the sticker labels, and they're perfect. They're exactly what I need. So, can't wait to begin covering up those business cards with these, and no complaints, these are perfect. It is almost 8 o'clock, and not gonna lie, I'm tempted, primarily because I bought this strawberry cheesecake swirl bundt cake while I was out, and I really want to try it. And usually whenever I eat sweets, I like to drink black coffee to help balance out the sweetness. And this is almost out, and I know I'm gonna have the, you know what, let's just finish it. So it's not gonna be a very small cup of coffee, and it's almost 8 o'clock. I have work tomorrow. This isn't a bad idea, right? It's not a bad idea. Just for a little dessert and coffee. It's not gonna hurt anyone. Not at all. Okay, so I was good and got a small cup of coffee and a pathetic slice of the small bundt cake. Gonna give it a try. I did get a small taste of it, and so far I kind of like the tiny little taste. And I'm thinking for tonight, it's going to be a crochet night, and we'll get started on putting some of the stickers onto the business cards. So, gonna have my little snack, and then we'll get to work. I have 5 of these sticker rolls, and to be honest, when I placed the order, I was expecting one massive roll, not 5 different rolls, but I digress. What I'm thinking is, I don't know if 1 roll per night is going to be overly ambitious, but if we can do 1 roll tonight, I think I'll be happy, but I will set aside time later this evening to work on some crochet. Almost through 1 roll of the stickers, and this is what the business cards look like so far. And this is one of my bad moments where I should have been more attentive and color match the QR code to whatever color was in the original business card, but I didn't think of that, and I probably did some color adjustments to the colors on the business card when I was working and didn't use the exact colors out of my color palette document. So there is a bit of a stark difference, but the QR code does look a lot whiter on camera than it does in person. So yeah, a bit of a my bad moment, but at the end of the day, I won't be doing the sticker thing in the future, because once I'm through these business cards, I'm going to redesign them and get them reprinted. But for now, this is what we have to work with, and until I get through all these business cards, until I get through all of these, I won't be... What am I trying to say? Where is my English? I need to finish these first before I get new ones printed, and until then, we'll have to work with these. And while I'm working on this, I am also catching up on Hell of a Boss, because the last episode I think I left off on was when Fitz was breaking away from Mammon, or the episode where he and Blitz get kidnapped. I forget which one, but I remember the last episode I watched, it had to do with Fitz and Ozzy. So yeah, catching up on Hell of a Boss while I do business cards, and then we'll shift gears over into crochet. Also, can I just take this moment to say that I'm highly amused by the angels learning what kink is. Like, it is, so far, like, it's only been a few minutes, but it's hilarious to me. And I absolutely love it. This is highly amusing for me. Okay, back to work. Okay, another intermission, because I think what makes this hilarious for me is that they're scandalized, but they're scandalized for all the wrong reasons. Okay, back to work. Okay, because it's easier to talk while I'm sewing over crocheting, so quick update for Saturday. I pretty much just took today on the slow side. I didn't really rush to get anything done. I ran some errands early in the morning, and I also veered off into a side quest, and in honor of Silas's birthday, I actually did bake a small little single serve cake, so it's like a little lunchbox cake. And yeah, right now it's sitting in the fridge, and I'm waiting for the frosting to set before I decorate it, and we'll see how that goes, because my decorating skills aren't the best, but we're slowly improving. And now we are sewing together the jackalope, and I've already got one leg onto the body, moving on to the second one. And I think when I begin working on the white ones, I'm going to work in more of a batch process, so that way it doesn't feel like it's taking me forever to get them done. Which I forgot to tie a knot, so... yeah, so that's our update for Saturday. I did get in contact with Vograce as well, because I still haven't received my proofs, and I realized they don't work on the weekend, but thankfully they did manage to respond to my email, because I was asking I was asking them if I could get an update on my order, and if they think it would be able to arrive here before the day of the market. And they said they can't guarantee that it'll arrive by when I need it, which, fair enough. So, although I didn't really get much of an update on how far along they are with creating proofs, because I still haven't gotten proofs. And so I'm sitting here kind of just like wondering if it would be a good idea to place an order with sticker wrap to at least get a small stock of them in for the market at the very least. And so, yeah, I'm a bit worried that they won't get here in time. Only thing I can do is hope and pray that the proofs will get to me ASAP, because the person who responded to my email said that they would try to expedite it the best they could. So I'm just hoping it'll get here on time, because those are 13 sticker designs that I was hoping I would get a good gauge for, like, how popular are they during this market. And so yeah, and it's kind of making me a little bit more thankful for the fact that I had like a little bit of an impulsive decision, and I ordered the prints for the Myth Chibis with cap print, and thankfully with cap print, according to their estimated arrival date, they'll get here by the 28th, if not the 27th, if I'm getting my dates correct. So at the very least, if I don't have the stickers, I will at the very least have prints of the boys available. But yeah, I'm low-key kind of wondering if I should put in an order for stickers with sticker app. At least a very small order, or figure something out with cat print, because I still haven't really gotten a gauge of what the pricing for cat print would be. But that would also require me setting aside a day to fix up the files for the prints again, or for the stickers again. And the good thing about that, though, is that I more or less have an idea of what I need to do within Affinity Photo Studio. So that's not going to be too much of a big deal. I could probably get it done within a day and put in an order with cat print. The only thing with cat print is that you need to email them whenever it comes to doing like vinyl sticker designs. And I kind of want to see a quote first before I make the jump, because the order with the sticker wool initially was around $400 or $500, which, again, part of the reason I ended up going with Vogue Race was because they had the price point at $100. And so, like, I'm debating on putting in a small order at the very least with cat print or sticker app, so I at least have some stickers I can sell. And I can still get like a gauge of are these stickers going to do well long run or not, because I know the Why Must All My Faves Die, I feel like that one is going to be pretty well received. And the chair quote from Fourth Wing is a popular one as well. So yeah, I'm just hoping they're gonna get here in time. Like, I could always put in a rush order, but like for my sanity, I want to at least have something. Like, yeah, because I ordered 25 of each design from Sticker App. And the thing is, I could try to order 25. That's going to be roughly $350 with Sticker App. But the thing is, the other thing I could consider too to help bring down cost is to print less. But the issue with printing less is that the price per item goes up. So you'll be spending less, but the price per item is going to go up. And that's part of the reason it's a good idea to order in bulk. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of sitting here trying to figure out what am I going to do about this. Like, am I going to put in an emergency order just to make sure I have some stock on hand? Like, at the very least, another 10, 15 stickers. So I'm not drowning in too much product for when the Vogue Race order comes in. But then I'll have two different set of stickers from two different set of manufacturers. So that's going to be two different materials. I don't want to say two different materials, but the, like, how do I put this? Like, I don't know how identical their, like, final products are going to be. So I'll have, like, two different products from two different manufacturers. And that's probably just me overthinking at that point. But, yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I'm here debating. And once again, like everything else, the sooner I can get the orders in, the better. So I can make sure I have them on hand before the market. But at the same time, I'm already spending a lot I'm spending a lot in such a short period of time, and I haven't put up any of the items on my Etsy or my online shop, primarily because I want to see how they do in the market. I don't want to have them listed on my storefront and then not having them available once the market is over. And likewise, because for example, lads, if I'm able to get it circulating to the right crowd, I don't want to accidentally sell out before the market or have like too few before the market. So yeah, that's kind of like where my brain is at, because I want to, like, everything that's coming in, I want to have it for the market specifically, and then I'll put it up once the market is over. Should also at least get the product listings drafted out, but for right now, one worry at a time. That's one thing. That's the other thing. One worry at a time. So we don't have to do everything at once. But yeah, that's currently where we're at. I'm not sure if I'm going to put in another order for stickers with another company that can potentially get them to me sooner. That's just like one concern at the moment. And I'm pretty sure, like, so when I set up the files with Vogue Race, there were a couple of the lad, or not just the lad stickers, actually quite a few of them, where I asked to do borderless cuts. So it would be pretty much just the, like, you wouldn't have like that white edge or that white border around them. So yeah, it's one of those things that the end products might come out a little too different, and that's what worries me. But one of the doves got scared by something. But yeah, that's one of the main concerns right now, is am I going to have the 13 sticker designs, because those are 14 different sticker designs that I won't have in time for the market. And if I can at least get like a small order of like 10 of each design, but like I said, is that once you, the lower number of items you get, the higher that cost per item is going to cost. So for example, let's say it's 2 something per sticker. Let's do a nice round number and say 3, because when I was looking at the per item cost for 25 stickers, it was like 2 something. So 3, just to give us a nice kind number. So that's going to be what? 30? No, okay, so $3, let's say 10, so that's going to be $30 per design, and then there's going to be 14 of them. So we're already looking at 30 times 14. I'm going to suck 30 times 14, that's going to be around 420 if I'm doing my math right, which, yeah, $420 for 140 stickers. So that's like, for me, that doesn't really sound like it'll be worth it. I'm gonna have to price it much higher just to make a decent amount back. So yeah, that's kind of like the struggle I'm at right now, is either wait for the stickers to come in and just like pray they come in time, or spend a little bit more and have like a small stock available. But I'm actually gonna have to look up the prices later for sticker app just to double check that. But yeah, that's kind of like the worry in the back of my head. Are these stickers gonna make it in time? Because I haven't even received the proofs yet, and I should have emailed them sooner once we entered the 3rd day. Maybe like emailed them Wednesday and just asked them for an update, because I know there are 14 designs, so that's probably gonna take them longer. The baby birds are being vocal right now. So that's gonna take them longer, obviously. So I probably should have emailed them sooner asking for an update, because it's been pretty much stuck there for the past week. So yeah, right now the main concern is, will these stickers arrive in time for the market? And again, it's 14 designs that I made specifically for this market, because they were also fantasy themed. More like, majority of them were fantasy themed. So yeah, that is the main concern right now. And I'm still deciding what I want to do, and I'll have to make the decision before this weekend ends, because the sooner I put in the order, the sooner they can come in. That's a little bit of an update when it comes to the products. And like I said, now that it's less of a concern, I'm more focused on crocheting. And while we're crocheting, I also, like, everything has been so focused around the stickers that, all I've been talking about have been the stickers. And so I finished quite a few books in that time, because like the audiobooks, vlogs, and Hello Boss have been the things I've been playing in the background just to help me focus. And the noisy chirps of the babies I feed outside. I haven't really been talking too much about all the books that I've finished in the past couple of weeks. And in the past couple of weeks, that has been Silver Elite, Butcher and Blackbird. I just finished book 2 of Zodiac Academy today. And so I haven't really been talking much about any of the books, so I figured might as well use this time to kind of just like chat and catch up on some of the things that I've been listening to, I've been reading. I'm still making my way through Once You're Mine, and we're slowly reaching the ending on that one, but actual books take me quite a little bit longer if they're not on Libby, because I'll be honest, sometimes I just brain rot away on TikTok for the evening. So yeah, I want to get back on the reading habit when the evening closes, so I could get through some more of the physical books that I have on hand. But anyway, beginning with Silver Elite, because I know I said I wanted to talk about that one, but haven't really gotten the chance to talk about it. And it's been a hot minute, so I'm gonna probably forget a lot of things. But I will say one thing about the ending. I'm just like, how do they plan to swing it so that... I'm also gonna forget names too now that I think about it. I'm gonna forget names. I am terribly gonna forget names. Oh, this is gonna be bad. But anyway, I'm just kind of... The funny thing is, I remember Xavier, because every single time there's a Xavier in the book, I picture Xavier from Lads. It's bad. It's bad. It's terrible. I remember Xavier. And so, yeah. What is his name? I feel like my mourning doves are, like, proportionally much more larger. Like, I feel like they should be smaller. Like, that is an oversized bird for a dove. But that could also just be me. Anyway. But my thing with Silver Elite is I want to know how are they going to make it so that... I just needed the name of the cast in front of me. Because I remember Xavier. I know one guy's a lot. Like, I mainly just remember Xavier, let's be honest. Because of Xavier from Lads. I can't even spell Silver Elite. The funny thing is, I used to have a crush named Kane. It's like, this was in middle school. We didn't go to school together, but we did play, like, co-ed basketball together. I did have a crush on a guy named Kane. Which, like, I think that's partially the reason I kind of got a little bit attached to Kane in the book. But I also do still, like... Okay, so I will say this. I still think Ren and Kane have the better dynamic than Ren and Cross, in my opinion. Like, I don't know, there's just something about Ren and Cross that doesn't really click for me, even though it kind of... There's gonna be spoilers up ahead, just an FYI. Like, even though they've known each other for such a long time, I just feel like it's kind of... It's not very well marinated. Like, it feels like he's supposed to be the main love interest, and we're pushing him because he's supposed to be the main love interest. Like, I don't feel like there's as much depth or that much of a dynamic as when you look at Ren and Kane. And that little flip at the end of it was just kind of funny for me, because it's just like, how do you neglect to let them know that Xavier is there with you and that he's trying to ferry you to safety, and now the man is just... I think that would have restrained him either way, because he's still considered an enemy, but, like, how do you neglect to let them know? It's like, hey, I'm also coming with a +1 who helped me get across the trenches. He's okay. He's chill. And it's also, the other thing is, too, it's just like, is anyone going to question the fact that Xavier Cross's right-hand man is a person who got Ren across safely? Like, you're bound to have questions with the fact that Cross protected Ren the way he did. Like, there are parts of the ending that, like, I thoroughly enjoyed Silver Elite. I enjoyed the action. And again, this is one of the ones that I did read the audiobook for it, or listen to the audiobook for it. And it's like one of the things I did enjoy it. I do enjoy Ren as a female protagonist. I just don't really think her and Cross have the strongest dynamic. And I don't know if it's just because I have a bias for Kane. But, yeah, and also that thing you learned about Kane at the end there was just like, oh my gosh, my boys, he didn't die. He did not die. He did not die. Because I was gonna throw another tantrum, and once again, why must all my faves die sticker once again becoming relevant. But yeah, happy Kane is still with us. And so yeah, I just feel like overall, be nice to him, he's bald. Overall, I just think Kane and Ren have the better dynamic compared to Cross and Ren, because it's just a lot of, I don't know, it didn't feel well marinated. It just felt like a forced enemies to lovers trope. It felt like Cross was the designated male lead, so it's like we have to push this romance. They used to know each other. Well, it's a combination of enemies to lovers and childhood friends when you think about it. It's like he's gonna be the childhood friend, and like it's gonna be a childhood friends to lovers, but also an enemies to lovers. And so we need to make it so that he is a viable love interest for when it's revealed that he is in fact Wolf. And I don't know, there was an idea there that I could, like, I get it, I see it, but I just don't think it was well marinated. Like, it didn't marinate long enough, because there were parts of it that was just like, okay, it feels like we're pushing the Ren and Cross agenda because that's the designated couple. Not really so much because they have that much substance with each other. I personally think that she and Kane had a much better dynamic going into things. And it's kind of like I don't know how it would have worked, given that ultimately they would have been found to be on the same side, and he could have been an ally from the beginning. So it's like, it's one of those things that like the trope would need to change for if it were to be like Ren and Kane being the focus. But again, I preferred her dynamic with Kane much more than I did with her and Cross. And that's just a personal bias. Like, I enjoy Cross I enjoy both of them as individuals, but as love interests, it's just kind of, I don't know, it kind of fell flat for me, in my opinion. Yeah, it kind of fell on the flat side. But either way, I'm still excited for the second book. I'm excited for the second book. And then hopping over into Butcher and Blackbird, which I'm reading the first book. Again, this one was through an audiobook, once again. And I enjoyed it far more than I thought I would. And I just love that it is it kind of reads more like a romantic comedy. And, well, a dark romantic comedy. And so I just really enjoyed it. It was just a fun listen. And I absolutely loved Rowan's and, what was her name? I remember Rowan, but I can't, like, at one point I used to be good with names. Now everything is just jumbling together and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. Butcher and Blackbird. Oh, and I think Joe Arden, hats off. Like, I need more of this man. And I love his accent on top of that too. So, Butcher and Blackbird. Is there like a show? No, I need characters. But yeah, it's such a fun read, and again, accidental cannibalism. Like, I even have a couple of ideas for Butcher and Blackbird stickers that I want to make. It was just such a fun book. It was such a fun book. And I love their dynamic. They're so cute together, and the ice cream scene, like, I laughed so hard during that scene because it's one of those things that, like, I have no doubts somebody out there, some freak out there has done it. And, like, whatever you do in the bedroom, cool, that's like, good for you. I'm not here to judge. But it was just absolutely hilarious because the reactions that you get from Rowan was just golden. And the fact that I still haven't looked up her name yet. No, I don't. I need the character names. Thank you. Sloane. Yeah, Rowan and Sloane had such a fun dynamic, and I really thought it was cute that Sloane is actually very socially awkward and just very shy. And, like, it really shows, like, a different contrast. Like, she's in her element when she is killing people. And then it's like when it's time to like riz up Rowan, which is literally you don't even have to try. The man's already head over heels for you. And again, it's just such a fun read that I'm so excited for when I get the audiobook for Leather and Lark, that I can't wait to get some of like the other characters they introduced. And the fun part is it's like they're all brothers, so it's like that's like one big happy family right there. One big happy family of serial killers. Where's the other ear? Oh, there it is. And then Zodiac Academy. So with Zodiac Academy, was there another book I finished before Zodiac Academy, actually, now that I think about it? I think there was another one. Oh, right, there was the psychological thriller. Or, I wouldn't call that a psychological thriller. It was more of a mystery. I forgot the title. But what was it? The Locked Ward or something along those lines. That one was like a nice kind of slowdown from what I've been listening to as of lately. So it's just like trying to figure out the mystery behind the murder, and it's just like the twist at the end. It's like, oh, so it wasn't that. But yeah, that was a pretty good listen to. Very chill, more laid back, a little bit more on the slower pace side as you're trying to piece everything together. But anyway, Zodiac Academy. So I'll be honest, I have listened to the regular audiobook version of Zodiac Academy in the past, and I'll be honest, Zodiac Academy isn't up there for me. It just reads too much like a, how should I put this? It just reads too much like it reads too much like petty high school drama, but we set it in a university setting so that we could get away with a couple of bit more risque subject matters. And so it's like for me, like if you're gonna put those themes in a high school setting, a college setting, like I've read questionable fic left and right. So for me, like it doesn't bother me regardless of what the setting is, because let's face it, life is messy. And so just the way it reads is that like we didn't feel comfortable putting high schoolers in those types of situations, so we made them college students instead. So, and for me personally, it's just like I understand that logic. I just wish that the school drama didn't feel like it was high school set in a university setting. It just, for me, it just felt a little bit like kind of discombobulated. Like I don't know, I just didn't like. I don't know. It just felt like it just felt like, I don't want to say a cop-out because that's not really quite the word for it, but it just felt like we were avoiding we were avoiding tropes that would have been far more questionable if they were set in high school by putting them in college and then making it play out like a college or a high school drama. And like, there are parts of it that I get it, but I just wish the stakes were a lot higher, because I think this is part of the reason why I really enjoyed Fourth Wing, because I was thinking at first, like, is it because it's in an academic setting? But then I realized, like, no, I really love Fourth Wing. And part of the reason why I love Fourth Wing is that it was very clear from the get-go that you were in a war college, and there were high stakes the entire time. Like, any character could die at any moment. You were in a believable situation where these are going to be essentially soldiers, and all of these, I want to say kids, but they're not kids. They're pretty much young adults. But, like, you have all of these characters that walk in, cross the parapet, and their lives are already at risk from day zero, genuinely. So it's like the genuine, like, threat is there from the get-go. And so, yeah, it's like Zodiac Academy, like a lot of things that they pull off, it's just very petty and very high school. That if the Vega twins were such a threat to the Celestial Heirs, like I don't know, I just felt like they should have, like, it should have been more, like, how do I put this? I guess it's just like, for me, it's like if you're gonna put them in a setting where they're not welcomed, and all you're trying to do is just haze them out of the school, like, that just reads very high school. Like, I would have preferred something that's a little bit more higher risk, because at the same time it's like it's kind of like jarring, because it's very obvious nobody cares that these things are happening to these girls, but at the same time it's like they're just stopping a little short of killing them, aside from the fact that they nearly killed Tori at the end of book 1. Also, for context, I did finish book 2 today, so I have finished book 1 and 2, and I was hoping the dramatized audiobook would make it better, but like I still struggle with some of, like, I think for me the main struggle with the first book was just like it felt like very childish drama for something that's supposed to be very high stake. And not to mention, like, and I think for me, it's like the wishy-washiness of the protagonists. Like, they're just constantly going back and forth. It's like, okay, I'm gonna need people to either commit to one side or the other. But it's also one of those things that, like, there are concepts and ideas there that I absolutely love. That it's the main reason that I stick to it is because I want to know where this is going. Like, is Zodiac Academy up there for me? I'll be honest, not really. It's definitely one of the books that I'll take a listen to, but I have very little interest in adding it to my collection at the end of the day. But I do want to know how it ends. I will say, though, is that I do enjoy Tori as a character, and genuinely, I just think we should have allowed Tori to punch people sooner, because it's like, what, like, for me, the thing that kind of makes me question Tori a little bit as a protagonist is just like, okay, she's supposed to be this tough girl that, like, literally she steals bikes for a living, and the fact that we waited until book 2 to actually let her be Tori is kind of like what kind of dampened book 1 for me a little bit, is that I think we should have let her punch people a lot sooner in self-defense. It's one of those things, like, we've seen how, like, not to mention the teachers just let it slide by. So if I think, like, Tori actually started allowing herself to punch people, or, like, actually act in self-defense and do everything that she was doing in book 2, like, I probably would have clung on to book 1 a lot better, because it's like, okay, yeah, she's not just gonna be a doormat. Like, they both stopped being doormats by book 2, thank God, because I think I would have died on the inside if they just kept being passive. And so, my opinion, we should have just let Tori start swinging sooner. I think that's part of my gripe with book 1, is that we just let them take it. And it's just like, I just think, and I voiced this opinion to my friend one time, saying, it's like, I think we should have let Tori drop kick someone sooner. Like, she had her moments in book 1, but they were never really, like, out there compared to how book 2 played out. And I really enjoyed book 2, because it's just like, all of these things are happening to their bullies, and it's just like nobody is piecing it together. Like, there are people with very heavy motivations to get back at you, and I'm surprised you guys haven't really even considered that the twins would stoop that low, because, but I guess that's kind of what makes it work, because in book 1 they were just so passive that nobody suspects them in book 2. But yeah, I will have to say that I enjoyed book 2 far more than I enjoyed book 1. Just book 1, it was just, I don't know, just very childish for a universe that is supposed to be high stakes. It just felt very childish, point of conflicts. And it just felt like it was going around the same circle. Come book 2, I did enjoy that they were finally standing up for themselves a lot more. And you could see them begin forming bonds with the people around them. And with the heirs, because it's like, it's one of those things that by book 2 I didn't really mind the kind of dynamic they had with the heirs, that it was just such a back and forth. I finally liked that we get a little bit more on Max, because it felt like the first book was more focused on Darius, Caleb, and Seth. And it's good to finally see a little bit more of Max in the second book, because I find it interesting that of all the heirs, he's the only one that could potentially lose legitimacy if his secret comes out. And I kind of like that Tori did decide, like, okay, yeah, this isn't how I want to destroy you, even though I could, but I don't really care about that portion. I just want to get back at you guys for nearly drowning me. Which, again, I really appreciate that Tori finally started standing up more by book 2. So, yeah. I have book 3 on waitlist with Libby, so that one's going to become available in the next 2 weeks or so. I already did spoil bit of it, so I already do know what orders Tori and Darcy are gonna fall under. I looked it up because I didn't want to wait for it. But in the back of my head, I already had it pieced together, because in my head it was just like the way that there's such a heavy emphasis on fire. The only place you see that is with a dragon, but I highly doubt they were going to be dragons. The only other thing that I could think of was that if they become hydras like their dad, but it's like that's the more obvious one. And then it's just like I had a small inkling for Phoenix with how the heavy emphasis on fire, golden fire, and such a good control over fire was, and was able to confirm it with a quick Google search. So now I know, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense, given how book 2 ended. Because I was going to give it until book 2 to figure out what their order forms were. It didn't happen in book 2, so they'll reveal it in book 3. And I just spoiled it for myself because I didn't want to wait for it. And it's, for me, I think Zodiac Academy is one of those books that I don't mind getting spoiled, because it's like I'm not that heavily invested in it. And I don't mind looking up the Spark Notes before time. So, yeah. Definitely not one of the books that I would keep in my collection, but definitely a book that I do want to... a series that I do want to finish to the very end, just to see where everything goes. Because I will say, there are the concepts of like the Zodiac, astrology, tarot, that I kind of like what they're playing at. Although I will say, I feel like when they came to the death card, they only gave a half explanation for it, and it feels more like they used the death card as for its shock factor, and rather than using its like complete meaning. So yeah, like I will say that is the one thing that I do kind of draw a point of contention with, because it just feels like, okay, you guys obviously chose death as that one card primarily because it's just like it's gonna feel like such a shock, but when you look at death in the tarot, like one of the first things that I learned is that death is actually one of the more misunderstood major arcanas, mainly because when you look at death, everybody has like that association that something bad is going to happen. But really, when it comes to the death card in tarot, what it means is new beginnings. So like there are parts of it that it's like, okay, yeah, that is a reasonable definition for it, but if you know the full definition of the death card, it means the end, so that something new can take its place. So it's like it's supposed to represent ending and new beginnings. Like that is, from my understanding, from my research, and from like doing my own readings for myself, generally that is... My camera cut me off, so struggling to find my thoughts again. But essentially the complete meaning of the death card is new beginnings through the end of something. So it's like, so the death card does bring an end, but typically the death card also brings in something new with it. So new beginnings through death. In my opinion, that if you wanted something that in terms of meaning would be a little bit more like if you're familiar, like I understand why they chose death, because death for anyone who does not do tarot will bring in that shock factor that will have them like, oh, something bad is about to happen. And that is if you don't know the full meaning of the death card, which again is supposed to represent new beginnings by something ending. At least that's how I've come to get familiar with it. That's how I've researched it, and that's how a lot of like the guidebooks tend to explain death. I think if you wanted more of a card that like explained the changes these girls were going to go through, in my opinion, the Tower would have been, because for me personally, the Tower is scarier compared to death, because typically Tower is very similar to death, that in order for something new to come in, something must come to an end. But the thing that sets the Tower apart is that typically when it comes to the Tower, it's supposed to be something that is very destabilizing. So it's a very drastic change that is going to cause, some levels of distress, and it's going to cause friction. So in my opinion, for all the things that Darcy and Tori go through, I think the Tower would have been a better card choice and I say this as somebody who has only been doing tarot for roughly around 2 years now. So like, I've shown them off in past videos, but I do collect tarot decks. I do collect oracle decks. I do my own readings. I follow readings from other tarot readers. I have done research here and there. Given I've only done 2 years, so I still consider myself a beginner, and I'm still learning the meaning of a lot of these cards. But yeah, it's I just think personally, from my limited knowledge, I think the Tower would have been a good card to go with. If there's a better card from the minor arcanas, I wouldn't be able to say, because I'm not as familiar with the with the minor arcanas, and I'm mainly familiar with the cards that I tend to draw pretty regularly. And I will say this: the devil and death follow me around like lost little puppies. Like, I get them pretty frequently. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. I just think that that was one of the things that kind of irked me, because death kind of does get a certain connotation attached to it because it is death. And for me, it's like, okay, yeah, you guys you obviously chose that card because you wanted it to bring in a certain shock factor, which I totally understand. Like, I get it. From a narrative standpoint, you're kind of using a bit of, hopefully the reader doesn't really fully understand what death means in tarot, so that it can flow into the story without really, so it can really flow into the story, and like the reader can feel like a certain shock factor to it. Like, I understand the decision, but at the same time, it kind of irks me, because it's like, again, as you learn how to read tarot, you realize that the death card has such a negative connotation to it, but really it is a beautiful card with a beautiful meaning, which is meant to signify new beginnings by something else coming to an end. So that is the one thing that that kind of did get me about that, is just like, and it's one of those things that I've learned because of how media tends to portray tarot. Death, and the way that we tend to look at death, like, it's very easy. Like, when I was beginning, it was very easy for me to kind of fall into the mindset, it's like, oh no, it's death, but really, death actually has a pretty positive connotation. But yeah, that is something that, like as a writer, I understand the motivation for using death as one of those cards. But, like, if you know what tarot is and you saw that, like, for me, it kind of irked me a little bit, because it's just like, I know why you're using this card for this reason. I just feel like it's kind of further, like, driving into death being, like, having such a negative connotation if you're not familiar with tarot. And one of the baby birds has crashed into the window again. They're still learning how to use their wings and how to teleport glass from places they can't fly through, so... yeah, that is like one of my little, that's like one of my little issues with Zodiac Academy, is, yeah, just that little piece. But aside from, like, the college drama feeling like very high school drama, I will say there are bits and pieces that I do enjoy. There are bits and pieces that I do enjoy that, like, kind of help me stick around a little bit, because I do enjoy the concepts that are floating around, and I enjoyed how the second book progressed and developed a little bit more. Is it still my favorite series? Not, I wouldn't say so. Again, I still wouldn't say that I would have added to my collection, but I will say, I do enjoy the dynamic that Darcy has with Seth. Okay, the dynamic Darcy has with Seth is kind of like a rocking boat for me, because for me, I like the type of personality Seth is, but it's on such an unstable boat with how it goes back and forth. That's just like, okay, dude, I'm gonna need you to choose a hill and die on it. Because it's like, at first I thought it's like, okay, second book, we're going in, Seth is actually going to show his true colors, but then you also get that one moment where they're trying to cast that fleece spell, and he gets very touchy with Darcy, and I'm just like, when did he make her his Omega? Like, when did that happen? Did I miss something? Because, again, when I listen to these books, I'm also working, so it's just like, maybe sometimes my attention isn't all there, but it's just like their relationship at times can be very jarring for me, but I do still enjoy Seth as a character. I do still enjoy Seth as a character. Even though sometimes he kind of throws me off. I do enjoy the development that we got out of Max and getting a little bit more of his backstory, because it kind of felt like he was just there for a lot of book one, and he's just a jerk who stole, who just kind of tapped into their darkest memories so that he could like cause some pretty like bad damage to Tori. Darius is another one that like I enjoy the kind of complexity he kind of brings in, because like you can tell it's just like he doesn't like he's bound by duty. He's bound by duty. I think like if it weren't for the fact that they were if it weren't for the fact of their positions, I would actually think he would get along very well with Tori, because they have very like similar, like they feel like they would be they would have been friends, if not already been dating, if it weren't for the positions that they were in. Because you can tell Darius is very much like bound by his duties. Like he's so duty bound that it's like he can't really find himself or find his own footing to be someone that isn't, to be somebody better than his father. Like he struggles with that constantly, and I kind of enjoy seeing that coming out of Darius. Caleb, I will say, is actually best boy. I do enjoy his dynamic with Tori. And so for that one, I kind of just like for me, it's that playful energy Caleb brings into the mix. I really like that he's such a playful character. And I do enjoy his dynamic with Tori a lot. Like again, like Darius, if it weren't for the fact that he was duty bound, like I'm pretty sure he and Tori would be best buds. Like I get the feeling they're not going to be endgame, as much as I love their dynamic and how playful it is. I do strongly think that it's going to be Tori and Darius going into the end game, and then Caleb. Sorry, I need your foot. Okay, thank you. I do think it's going to be Darius and Tori going into the end game, which is kind of like sad for me, because I do enjoy Caleb and Tori quite a lot. And once again, like if it weren't for the fact that Caleb's duty bound, and he's one of the ones that it's just like there's a certain reluctance with him. Like he doesn't want to do it, so he'll still participate. But it's like he does it. It's very similar to Darius. Like he does it because he feels like it's part of his duty. Seth, I don't know where exactly he stands on, because it does feel like he gets some genuine joy out of torturing the girls. Darius and Caleb, like you get more of their internal dialogues that kind of like remind you. It's like, yeah, it's. I guess you do get a little bit of Seth that does feel a little bit bad about how. Do you actually? Now that I think about it. But yeah, it's all the duty bound stuff. But yeah, do enjoy Tori's. I do enjoy the dynamic Tori has with both Caleb and Darius, because they just bring two different dynamics that I personally really enjoy in romances. One, the enemies to lovers trope, which my bread and butter. I will always go for a good enemies to lovers. And then with Caleb, you have that element of enemies to lovers, but you also have that light playfulness to it on top of that. And I do enjoy very playful male characters. So, although I will say it's just like the pranks the girls pull on them, and the fact that they make it so that they can it never gets traced back to them, it's just like, is genius. I love them for that. That being said, so that is my rambling on books. And I do also need to catch up on some anime and manga, and maybe I can begin talking about that too once I start watching stuff again and sit myself down to watch. But for right now, I finished another Jackalope. Just need to find the... So I've gone ahead and finished another Jackalope. I'm actually getting pretty hungry right now, so I'm going to make dinner and then finish decorating the cake. And I'll show you guys the cake when it gets done. So... one more Jackalope finished, and more yarn for the scrap bears, or like the scrap projects. So I do still need to make the white ones. Once the white ones are complete, I'll start working on a pattern for the tricolor dango. And again, still debating if those are going to get faces or not. And then I don't think I'll get to it tonight. If anything, I'm just going to, at the very least, get started on getting the pieces for the white jackalopes started. And then tomorrow, because of how I've been overworking and this week yesterday was kind of rough. So I didn't really feel well when I got home, so I didn't really film. And so I'm thinking, I think Sunday would be a good day to just have like a fully dedicated rest day. So I'm gonna try and dedicate that as a rest day. So another jackalope completed, and now I'm gonna go grab dinner. Where's this string coming from? Oh, that's the head. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit, and maybe we can get started on the white rabbit later in the evening. Happy birthday to everybody's favorite dragon daddy. And shout out to my books for holding up the 2 items of Silas that I currently own that are not body pillows. Happy birthday, Silas! Also, shout out to my car keys for holding up the tapestry as well. Okay, so close up of the cake. The black frosting is coming out better on camera, and it actually came out a lot better once I put it in the fridge to set. So, black frosting doing pretty good. But here's the cake. Nothing too impressive or elaborate, and I'm still working on my piping skills. We're getting there. Slowly getting there. This was supposed to be a red velvet cake with cream cheese frosting. And just a little cut of the cake and the cake slice. I feel like I should have added more red food coloring or maybe less cocoa powder, but... And I need to work on my cutting skills. But here's the cake. Thankfully, I just received my proofs from Grace, and one of the notes that they put in is that not all of these would be available for full bleeds. And personally, when I was going to order these stickers, I was expecting them with white borders anyway, so it would have been a nice to have to get the cuts pretty much close to the edges of the, for example, the Lads Boys specifically. It would have been nice to have that, but it's a nice to have, but not an absolute must have for me. Unfortunately, Debbie Ghost will come with a white border, but yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and move forward with these designs in the future. If I could figure out a way to get the cuts closer, that'll be a future me problem, but for right now, I'm pretty happy with what the cut lines look like, and some of those cut lines were the ones that I was expecting for some of these designs anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and move forward with what Grace provided. Although I will say, for Debbie Ghost, I'm not sure if I want to do like at the very least a black border or edge for him. The other thing that I could do is just save that for a next time thing and just move forward, because I don't want to delay these stickers any further. Or when they get here, I can just try and cut them myself, because at the end of the day, it's only going to be 25 of them. And I think I could go in with a pair of scissors and get a closer cut. If not, I'll just leave them as is, and then for future stickers, I'll take that into account. And then future iterations of Debbie Ghost will have a black border, or rather a black bleed instead of a white bleed. Yeah, I think that's going to be an issue for the future. Or I can do it now. We'll see. Because I could just send in, but then... I just don't want to delay these stickers any further, because I do want them in ASAP. I opened up the Debbie Ghost file just to play around with it and see if I could change the borders to black. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm realizing I actually don't really like the black border all too much. And if I add on this black border, it's actually going to make that the borders around the letters a little too thick for my liking. So I think best I can do for right now is just accept that this sticker is going to have a white border around it. I mean, a lot of stickers have white borders, so it's gonna, I'll just go ahead and accept it as is for now. And then if I print Debbie Ghost in the future, I'm actually gonna work on the file a little bit more, give myself time to work with it. That way I can set up the cut lines the way I want them to be set up, and hopefully that'll help the printer cut them out closer to my preferences. But for now, I think we will just go ahead and move forward with the Debbie Ghost as is, and I'll go ahead and approve the proofs, because I'm really not liking that black border, especially when you get to the flames, and then white borders tend to be standard for a lot of stickers. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the files as is. I'm gonna go ahead and approve the proofs, and in the future I'll fix up the Debbie Ghost file a little bit better so that way it's more cut closer to the flames. So I think that's what we're gonna do for the future. Oh god, this mask has a smell to it. Jesus. Okay. I'm slowly making my way through opening all the masks, and yes, I should wash them first. But I haven't. I'll probably get them rinsed off tonight because this one has a pretty strong smell. It's like, it's not the worst thing in the world, but like, I'm undecided how I feel about it. Anyway, the thing I forgot to mention is I'm thankful that the proofs came in today and that I did not jump the gun and ended up ordering more stickers off of Sticker App, because I would have been paying a lot more for more stickers, and I just approved the proof, so I'm hoping that once they go into production, I still got another 2-3 weeks before the market. So I'm hoping that they'll be shipped out sometime within the week or next week, and that it'll hopefully get to me before then. So crossing fingers that it all just pans out smoothly. I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun either, so. But yeah. So I think we'll have time. I think we're still fine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and wait for the low grade stickers to arrive. If worst comes to worst, they just won't be with me at the market, and I just put them on my shop. That's gonna be the worst case scenario, unless I can find a printer who's willing to do a rush job. I feel like it's been a while since you guys seen Kageyuki, so here's Kageyuki. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick update before we wrap up the vlog, and pretty much today did my usual routine of just reviewing the vlog before posting it, and while waiting for things to render, I did work on a few jackalopes. I did manage to slow down a little bit in the middle of the day, and I did just laze around in bed for a while before working on a couple of the jackalopes. Still did some crocheting, but took it on a much more leisurely pace than I have the past couple of weeks. And I also managed to catch up on Hell of a Boss and binge watch The Amazing Digital Circus, and I have to say, I really enjoyed how is it pronounced? TADC? I don't know. Okay, so I just binge watched it between yesterday and today and really did enjoy it. And I really enjoyed the premise of it as well. Jax is my favorite. And Jax has made me realize that I gravitate to the characters with attachment issues. I wonder why. Anyway, really enjoyed it, and I'm kind of I need episode 9. That's all I'm gonna say, because the way episode 8 left off was like, oh my god. And I kind of like how, like, the transition from episode 7 to episode 8. Like, I have to say, I really enjoyed the fact that, like, he used the truth as part of a game, and it's just like he was using, like, I just really love that setup, was that there was some truth to that adventure, but like it played off as a lie because it ended up getting set up as an adventure. So I just love that there was a lot of truth in that, but he was able to twist it so that they thought it was a lie. And I love the fact that Pomni just remembered that Kingster? I binged watched it in 2 days. I'm going to struggle with a couple of names here and there. But I pretty much like that Pomni remembered that detail, that Kingster knows more than he lets on when, well, not that he lets on, but when he's an amnesiac, like, it's very easy to dismiss him. And, like, Pomni realizing, like, wait a minute, if we just put him in darkness, he's able to rationalize perfectly fine. We just need to put him in the right condition. And it's just one of those things that, like, I think you needed episode 7 in order to get to episode 8 and for Pomni to put those two pieces together, because part of me was thinking just now, like, why didn't she just do that sooner? But then I realized you kind of need episode 7 to think that there's more to this than meets the eye, and there has to be some truth in what Kane was doing. I'm sorry, my brain just got stuck on the word name Kane because I think I'm pretty sure I mentioned this previously. In Silver Elite, there's a character named Kane, and I used to have a crush in middle school whose name was Kane, and Wacky Teeth Guy is named Kane. So my brain just had a moment of pause. Back on topic, but yeah, I really think episode 7 and then Pomni connecting dots was just perfect. And I really, and I just, it's starting to show up more on my FYP, so now I'm starting to see like theory videos, and apparently The Amazing Digital Circus is based off of an actual book, and now I'm interested in finding the book so I can read it because I love dark, twisted stuff like that. And so, yeah, absolutely love the transition between episode 7 and episode 8, and putting those pieces together, and now I can't wait for episode 9. So, yeah. Kind of happy that I did set a little bit of time aside to, like, catch up on a few things here and there, because new series that I'm enjoying, and also did manage to get some of the Jackalopes done, which I'm gonna set Kageyuki aside over here really quick, because we got a whole bunch of Jackalope parts. And I had a friend once tell me that this is her favorite part of my process because I'll make all the body parts first before sewing them together. And she said this is her favorite part because whenever I sent her pictures of my works in progress, she said it was just like, it's like a plushie massacre. And I'm just like, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. I would never do that to a plush toy because the plush toys are family, but yeah, plush toy massacre. So we got all the Jackalope pieces. I got all the pieces done, so there's enough for 2 in here, and all I have to do now is just sew them all together, which I'll probably get started on tomorrow. So that is the Sunday update. Oh, and forgot if I filmed this part, but didn't update this yesterday, but we also did finish putting the stickers onto the business cards. I've been blabbering and I forgot what I've been blabbering about. So stickers on the business card, we do have quite a bit left over, so what I'm thinking is just to go ahead and paste these onto cardstock and hand these out if these happen to run out. So yeah, we still got a good amount left over in terms of the QR code stickers, and aside from that, that is pretty much it for Sundays. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's vlog, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.